For all the working people or the people that are just pressed for time, most videos on YouTube don't have you guys in mind. But I'm going to show you how you can maximize your improvement with just 1 hour a day. And speaking of not having time, if you guys are new to this series, welcome to Shoddy's Yap Session. This is a series where I yap about a topic and you turn me on in the background while you do something else. Or, if you really want to, you can watch the mid-gameplay. Now to start, most people like some form of a warm-up. Whether that be Doom match, practice range routines, there's a lot of different options. For this video specifically, I'm going to use Doom match as an example, because Doom match you can get a lot done all in a short time. Now if you're completely brand new to the game, start with the practice range. But if you're not, you're going to want to choose whichever characters you want to play for the day, but try to stick to only about 3. Because if you try to do more, we're going to go way over just an hour for practice. But spend time each day, and obviously if you have more time, spend more time. Spend time each day practicing and spending time in the Doom match, learning abilities, learning how to use abilities. And Doom match is my preference because you can spend a lot of time finding out matchups, finding out how to fight against real people, and it'll be much more realistic to what you'll face in a real game compared to the practice range, which is just a whole bunch of bots, literally. Now, besides just learning a character in Doom match, people also ask me, how do I train my aim? And I have a practice range routine on my channel already, but instead, if you want to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you're a character that has a projectile, which is, let's say, Namor, Winter Soldier, characters like that, characters that when you shoot, it takes a second before the bullet actually hits, you want to play that character practicing your aim in Doom match. But there's a specific way that we're going to go into later in this video how to do it. But if you're a hit scan character like Hela, instead of just playing Hela for practice, I would recommend you play Black Widow. And before you click off like, oh no, he's throwing. The reason why I like Black Widow, and actually I was the starter of this idea and I saw some other YouTuber copied it and stole exactly what I said. But in my original practice range routine, I talked about Widowmaker forces you, or Black Widow, sorry. She forces you to think before every single shot. She has a mechanic where if you hit fire and shoot, it does a little reload animation. And with this animation, it gives you a few seconds to think about your next shot, if you're going to take it, if you're on the target, and everything like that. Which most people, when they're practicing, they don't think about that. They just, oh, click as fast as possible, click, click, click. But with this mechanic, you're going to become much more deliberate with all your shots. And if you've never heard me say it before, you need to stop holding shoot button on most characters. All characters that have precision, for example, Hela, Winter Soldier, anyone that's semi-auto, you want to stop holding left click the whole time. Because if you do, you'll end up shooting before you're actually on target, and you'll end up shooting either early or too late for most of your shots, instead of actually having deliberate aim with every single shot, making it so that you reload a lot more, or you just miss. And Black Widow will give you the most value for your time because she forces you to think before each shot. Now, as for the method I was talking about, I used to use this on console, and it still works really well for me now. Back in the day, when I was playing console, I wanted to try hard, really hard, and I wanted to figure out the best way to get better. And every single better player I met, most of them were on faster sensitivity on console. Like, I looked at all the pros and all the best ones. If the sensitivity scale was out of 10, they were closer to 7, 8, 9, while I preferred 5. And I found that it was just because of my lack of skill and lack of development. Since I hadn't gotten good enough yet at controller to really control my aim at those faster sensitivities, I would always default to a slow one. And that's why a lot of people in real games default to a slow one. Now, for console, I can't give you exact numbers, but sensitivity does not matter. Sensitivity is not muscle memory. It's more of hand-eye coordination. And since on top of Marvel Rivals coaching, I also coach aim, a lot of people have asked me, what about my sensitivity? Could I change it? Should I change it? And I've begun doing an example where instead of telling them that aim is hand-eye coordination, I decide to practice my aim in front of them with a sensitivity randomizer on, making my sensitivity constantly change while I'm playing, showing them that I'm still able to aim very, very well with my sensitivity changing every half a second. Now, since this is a yap session, I can't just show you guys because most people won't be watching, or shouldn't be, but whenever I do my aim training guide on this game, I'll show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. And speaking of aim training and sensitivity, back to the point I was making, when you change your sensitivity, most people change, oh, well, I'm undershooting, let me make it faster. Then, after they play for a week, they're undershooting again. And if you haven't realized up to this point, it's not actually a sensitivity problem. It's honestly a skill issue, but a skill issue in a specific way. What I mean by a skill issue is that people autopilot when they play games. And if you only have 1 hour to play or 2 hours to play the game every day, you can't afford to spend the first 4 games, which if you can even fit 4, trying to warm up, trying to wake up, and trying to be able to aim again. So how I would speed run me actually paying attention, because if you're paying attention to your aim will feel a lot better, not thinking about it. When I say pay attention, I just mean awake, alert, in a flow state, not, oh, let me think about my aim 24/7, because then you're just going to miss. It happens to everybody. But the thing is, most people with their sensitivity, they start autopiloting after a day or after it stays on the same thing for a week, instead of being aware the same way they were when they first changed their sensitivity. But that's why if you're undershooting, you switch to a faster one, and then you stop undershooting. That's why it works. It's not because the sensitivity solved it. It's because since your sensitivity changed, you're paying more attention to what you're doing. So the best way I found to speedrun this was every single game I'm about to play, I double my sensitivity in my practice match. Then when I get into a real match, first of all, my sensitivity feels way slower and much more controlled and much easier to aim with, even if it's not a slow sensitivity. And I'm more awake. It's like a speed run for warming up. And while it has its benefits for warming up, it actually also implements an aim training technique and an aim improvement technique that I teach in my coaching, which is practicing extremes so that you can manage the normal a million times better. And what that means is if you can control a sensitivity that you touch your mouse once and you do a 360, if you learn how to control that, which it is possible, the issue is some sensitivities cause pixel skipping, which means when you move your mouse, it's so fast that your mouse will actually miss certain pixels on your screen, making it so you literally cannot aim at certain points on your screen. But if you're in a range before that, which we'll get into later, you're usually, the more you train, able to eventually control that sensitivity with a pretty high level of competence. So you'll actually be training your aim and training your ability to control really fast sensitivities, making it so little muscles in your hand, or if you're using controller in your thumb, develop so that you'll be able to be much more precise as you practice. So this serves as aim training, ability practice, and a great warm-up, all in one. So after this, what you'll like to do, if you're really trying to be sweaty and try hard certain things, you can do one of two things. One, you can just jump straight into matches and play. Two, you can go into custom matches and spend about 5-10 minutes learning certain maps. Let's say you're bad at, I don't know, map A. Go into map A, go into a custom match, and just go run around. Hit the X-ray vision, which I think is like on the D-pad for controller, and then it's B for PC, but hit that X-ray vision and break stuff. Switch to Loki because he breaks stuff really easily and he can move around quickly, and break everything you can see what kind of sight lines you can open up, and familiarize yourself with what you can do in a match. There are so many maps that on attack you're supposed to break certain walls, but in lower ranks, most people don't even know about the wall, or it gets broken by coincidence instead of intentionally. So spend 5 minutes breaking everything, or when you go play your games for the day, give extra thought to the map around you and what you can break, what you can't, what angles you can play on, and spend a lot of time focusing on the map part of the gameplay. Now, if you're strapped for time, you can probably only do about 2 to 3 matches. In those 2 to 3 matches, your biggest goal is, one, I would recommend you mute everybody. Working with your teammates, especially if you're the target audience for this, like someone who doesn't have much time, or someone who's just trying to maximize their improvement, you got no time thinking about teammates. Most games will be toxic. Most games will have at least one idiot. So if you want to, you can test the water first. Talk to them, see how they are, see if they're cool. If anything starts, if any toxicity, just mute them, play the game, practice. And when you go into the game, have actionable goals. Let's say you're bad at map B, but maybe you're just bad at map B because you always lose on defense. So what you can do is spend your time, one, looking at other characters on your team. Let's say if you're an off tank, seeing what your main tank is doing and try to base some of your gameplay off of that. Or if you're not afraid of losing, experiment, limit test, push what you can and can't do. Most people stick to one play style in this game because they're too afraid to lose, be the reason why they lost, anything like that. You want to be able to not make enough mistakes. You want to go into the game and do everything you can wrong so you know what's right to do. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't improve. So many people are so worried about, well, my team this, my team that. But you'll get into games and 8 out of 10 games, you'll have at least a teammate or a person on the enemy team that doesn't care. So why are you spending your effort limiting yourself and stopping yourself from limit testing because of people that probably don't care about you in the same way? So You have to be in full control of your own improvement. And if you let your teammates tell you, oh no, you can't do this, or you can't push up, or what are you doing, Dr. Strange, you're throwing, you're never going to improve. Because all the clips that you've ever seen in the game, most of them are of a player who said, you know what, I can do it. Then they decide, you know what, I'm going to try and 1v6 the whole enemy team. They get a huge Doctor Strange ult, and then they get the greatest clip of their life. That exact same play could have went like this. They go in, they try to pop it, they get like stunned or frozen by Luna Snow, and then they don't get the clip and they instantly die. Then their whole team curses them out. But all the insane clips you see are also 1 or 2 abilities away from being the same garbage clips you see. So limit test and find out what you're capable of, what your limitations are, and how to break them. And the best way you can do this is after each game, spend 2 minutes, 3 minutes. If you want to be a super nerd, you can write notes, which, listen, I'd be lying if I said I haven't wrote notes as I was younger about like a game trying to improve, so there's no shame here, all right? But you want to be able to find out what was your fault, what you could have done better, and how you could have done it better. I'll give you an example. Me as Hella, I was playing and I lost the game barely. Meanwhile, I had 50 kills. My second best DPS had like 30. So I was doing definitely the best on the team. But me just saying, wow, I was so good, I did so well, gets me no improvement. So after the game, I was self-critical. I was thinking, yeah, I did miss that 1 shot on the healer or those 3 shots, or I popped my ultimate 3 seconds too early, and then most of my ultimate was wasted because Luna Snow had hers. And just sit there and say, even the minor things, those minor things in a lot of matches are the difference between a win and a loss. And then after you do all your games, sit down and say, what is my goal? An example of a good goal is headshot accuracy increasing by 5% in the next 2 weeks. Or another one is actually consistently landing all my Doctor Strange ultimates. Something specific for you that works. Even if it's being a team player, mastering how to make callouts, or I want to be an IGL, which is, if you guys don't know, an in-game leader. If you want to master being an IGL, mastering how to make callouts, how to talk to your team, how to keep morale up. All of these are real goals and goals that will help greatly improve your gameplay and save you time. Because nowhere in it I said, oh, go VOD review, go aim train for 6 hours, go play the game for 6 hours. You guys can do all of these things very, very time efficiently as long as you have structure to what you're trying to do. Now, if you like being efficient with your time and you like free stuff, go learn and get free coaching at Gosu Academy with my link in the description. And then after you're done, check out this 44-minute video on everything I learned from coaching from bronze players all the way up to eternity. I love you guys. Have a good one. God bless you.